Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Tracy Christian. She is a founder and head designer for Luxury Plus clothing line, Sante Grace. Welcome to the show, Tracy.
Welcome. Thank you.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show, Tracy. Welcome to India in this online form. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll be talking about how about self-esteem. Will through fashion. We'll talk about how one can fashion their own confidence in their clothing. So we'll talk about all this in that backdrop. We'll have our discussion. But before that, Tracy, let's have a bit of a understanding of your background, your journey, so that the listeners know a bit more about who they are listening to.
Certainly. So my name is Tracy Christian, as Mr. AJ said, and my background is, I think, a little interesting. I actually work in the entertainment industry. I'm a talent agent. And what that means is, at least for my agency, I represent actors, writers, producers, directors, and I find work for them, negotiate those deals. And I've represented a lot of people that you would recognize: Tisha Campbell, Jeremy Piven, who you might know from Entourage, Michael Kenneth Williams from The Wire, and I've been in this industry for 25 years. And then during the pandemic, I started a second business called Sante Grace, and that's an upscale plus size clothing line.
Right, right, Tracy. So, upscale plus size clothing. What does it mean from a common perspective? It gives an impression as if people who are rich, they would need more of plus size clothing. Should we consider it that way? Because uh, nowadays lifestyle is such that a lot of people would need it.
Sure. So I started it because, in business, we have this expression, white space, and white space means nobody's in it. So I've been a curvy girl my entire life. And like a lot of women, you go to the mall or you go to stores and you see designer clothing. And when I was a young girl or a young woman, I would think to myself, oh, one day I'm going to, buy an Armani suit. And all I'm going to wear to work is Armani, or, I'm going to buy this, that, and the other. And what happened in my life was by the time I could afford those clothes, I couldn't fit them because Armani doesn't go up to the size that I wear. So, and I looked around and there were, a lot of professional women who have the same challenge that I did, which was we wanted designer feeling and looking clothes. We have, these expansive jobs, careers, lifestyle that require us to do things like going to the Oscars or going to the Cannes Film Festival, but we don't have the wardrobe for it. Now, this is how crazy the plus size market is. When I was in college, students here in the United States, a lot in winter, we go skiing. And whenever I was going to go skiing with my friends, we would rent the clothes, rent the skis. I would always have to rent men's clothes because the women's clothes stopped at a certain size. It was as if ski manufacturers were like, oh, she's fat. Clearly she's not skiing. She's not doing any exercise. She's just sitting on a couch eating candy. But that wasn't true. People come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. And here I was. I'm a, tall person. I'm almost 6 feet tall. I'm a curvy person. And I was very physically active, but I couldn't find the athletic clothes to fit my body. So, and that didn't change the older I got. So when you are, a career girl like me and you're trying to sign some fancy client and you can't even find a decent suit to wear, like Mr. AJ, I don't know, who made the outfit that you're wearing right now, but whether, irrespective of what country in, you're whatever you want to do, you can walk into any men's store and find a sweater, a suit, a vest, pants, anytime that fit you. If you're staying at a hotel, you can go downstairs to the dress shop at the hotel and buy clothes. And none of that was possible for me. So I created Sante Grace to end the crying in the fitting room so that plus size women would always have something to wear.
Absolutely, absolutely. So people have to now understand that plus size does not mean that people are lazy or people do not want to exercise. It is because that's the way they are, and that's the way they also need extra sort of a clothing for themselves in terms of which are not available generally in the market. It has nothing to do about their mindset, nothing to do about their attitude, nothing to do with their whether they are exercising or not exercise. Simply
Yeah. If
one
you're
more option
if you're
available.
pregnant, right, if you're pregnant, your body changes, you need clothes. If you are on a weight loss program, you're not going to lose weight overnight, right? You need something to wear between the time that you start the diet and your ideal weight. And then some people, that's just their body, right? Like the
Right,
other thing
right.
that a lot of companies think is that bigger people are trying to look skinny or camouflage themselves. I am not trying to look like anything but the best Tracy, you know? For years here in the United States, I don't know if you guys have something similar in India. If you were dark skinned, a lot of makeup companies thought you want to look lighter, right? Or for black people, they thought, oh, you've got kinky hair. You want your hair to be straight. No, I like my hair. I like my skin tone. I want to have great looking skin, no pimples, no wrinkles, whatever. But I'm not trying to lighten my skin, just like I'm not trying to make myself look like a size 4.
Absolutely, absolutely. And talking about India, in India, this whole, looking fairer has been a big market for several
Mm.
companies and they have sold it. But now, especially in the last one decade or so, especially in the last couple of years, people are not simply bothered. They are proud of their skin, they are proud of their color. Some people are born very fair in India, some people are in the middle thing, British or brown or whatever it is called, and it's nice to see, from and India has always been like, because of British rule, a lot of times, people can tend to push ideas about smartness about, through their skin color, and that is
Sure.
changing very fast, not only in the world,
Whoever
and especially in
you
a
try to
country
look
like
like your
India.
oppressor. Yeah, you try to look like your oppressor. And as you come into your own consciousness and confidence, that changes. You look in the mirror and you realize, hey, I'm not so bad. I don't need to look like this person or have a body type like some other group. I'm great just the way I am.
Absolutely, that's where I said I am, and that's the confidence. A lot of people have that confidence now. Earlier on also, but now they are being very vocal about
Mm.
it, and not just men, even women also. And it is such a heartening thing to see, Tracy. Everybody should be like that. You should not. Your skin color should not define who you are, how you are, what you are, and and what is within you. Your attitude, aptitude, your the way you carry yourself, that's what is most important, especially in today's time. So I want to understand from you, Tracy, is about this plus size. Even in India, I used to see a lot of places this plus size clothing concept has not been there, and someone who
Mhm.
needs a bit of, gained a bit of weight because of any other issue, as I said, pregnant women, you would feel a bit more conscious asking for larger clothes anywhere in the store. And that would perhaps either make you conscious or someone else, depending on their mindset, the way they will look at you. Either they will look at you with respect, not so great customer, or almost with disdain. How do you look at this whole changing? Now there are, even in India, you have got this plus size stores. I have seen several places, apparel and all that stuff. So how do you see this whole changing understanding about plus size clothing everywhere in the world?
Well, I think the change comes from inside first, right? Um, and for me, confidence came from a number of places. The first place it came from was my tribe. You know, if your parents, if you are blessed to have parents who reinforce that you are loved and smart and funny, all of those positive things, whether you're skinny or bigger, you're able to develop self-esteem. um, Friends, and this the same thing. But really, for me, confidence, particularly in a workplace, like I said, I work in the entertainment industry, and 95% of the people who do the same job that I do are white men. So for me to create confidence for myself in that industry, it really came from doing. you know my parents had reinforced that I had a good brain and that I was a good person. But when I came into entertainment, I didn't really know anyone or anything. So I it was a bit like, jumping off a diving board, right? So I would jump into the pool and be very afraid. Oh, I'm going to drown, I'm going to hit my head. I would jump into the pool and things would be fine, right? And then maybe the next time I'm afraid again, I would jump at a bigger height and things would be fine. And what I want to enforce for your audience is write it down. Continue a log, a diary, whatever. But you have to remind yourself sometimes of who you are, how good you are, that it's okay to be afraid, but walk through that fear. So even though I would walk into spaces and people looked different than me in every way, and people had comments, I would think back to the things that I did that were successful, even though I was afraid. And that would give me the confidence to, you know, jump from a higher height and higher and higher. And then after a certain point, as you get older, you realize it's okay to be afraid. I'm always going to be afraid, right? Like if you're doing something big, if you're doing something significant, it's human nature to be afraid. That's okay. But I'm going to walk through that fear anyway. Look at my track record. Look at where I started and look where I am now. In the gap was all of that fear, and I faced the fear, and that's why I'm here now. So I can do this. I talked a
Absolutely,
lot. Did
you
I
can do
answer?
this. You have done
but
this.
when, oh,
You have done this.
but
Right.
when you develop that kind of confidence, then even when the industry or places are telling you you're fat, you should hide yourself, you should lose weight, you should only wear dark colors, you've done so much in your life that you trust yourself. You don't have to lean or listen to other people. You're going to say, you know what, I look good in black and I look good in yellow. I'm going to wear what I want to wear, and I'm going to wear it the way I want to.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell us a bit about, challenges of building this business? Does it become an obvious success because a lot of people are having the need of such clothing? Or looking at it from purely from a business perspective, a lot of people are also staring at obesity, and they would also need it. How have you seen your challenges, or the growing up of this particular business of yours?
I want to thank you for asking that question because when I started the business, I just started it because I thought, okay, there's got to be executives just like me who need clothes. So I'm going to design these clothes and I'll sell the clothes. It was very simple to me. I had no idea that I was being revolutionary. And so the first collection, I designed the collection and, I put the clothes up on Facebook and, all over social media. And people were so angry at me. Even now on Facebook, some of the comments are amazing. They would say, how dare you promote obesity? Or how dare you charge this much for this clothing? Or if you, you know, there's a recession. And fat people make less money than skinny people. How dare you put things out that are a lot about the prices? And uh, that blew my mind. I didn't understand it. Now I understand it a little better. So women, and then do you want me to talk about that about
Yes, yes,
why
carry on,
that
carry
reaction?
on if you want to. Yeah.
So a few things. One, women are socialized to put everybody first, everyone else first, right? There's a saying in the United States, you got to put on, your oxygen mask first before you put on some, right? We've all been in the plane and they tell you that because the way women are caretakers, we're moms, we're wives. And so I think a lot of times our inclination is, I'm a grown woman. I know if I was sitting next to my mom in an airplane, the first thing she's going to try to do is take care of me. So, women, when they saw that these clothes are available and that they are not fast fashion, that you actually have to maybe save to buy them, they're a little, more expensive. They are not accustomed to caring for putting themselves number one. They are accustomed to, okay, it's school time. The kids need school clothes. My husband needs a new winter jacket. The house needs this. They take care of everything else. And then with whatever is left over, then they take care of themselves. And my message is a little different. And I say, the best way to put self esteem into your children is to show them how you take care of yourself. And the best way you can teach someone how you want to be treated is how you treat yourself. If all you feed yourself is fast food and, cheap kind of not very stylish clothes, what are you projecting? What are you saying to the world? Right? A lot of times people are just responding to the messages that you give them. And my message is stand tall. There's a huge world waiting for you. Don't greet the world like this. Greet the world like this. Be proud of yourself and your accomplishments. Be proud of your wrinkles because a lot of people didn't live long enough to get them. Be proud of your gray hair. Even be proud that you have a little weight on you, right?
Right.
Because I would say during the pandemic, when supplies were hard to get, there were a lot of people who didn't have enough to eat or didn't have, you know, as much food as they had before. And I thought, I'm blessed. Like, I'm still, I haven't lost a pound, you know, but, but appreciate yourself for who you are. Nobody's perfect. And that's how you should go out into the world, right? And a huge portion of that is what you wear, of showing how you take care of yourself, is how you conduct yourself and how you present yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely, Tracy. One thing I want to understand about the challenges in marketing. How do you market? Means your products are there, you can message it, but in terms of getting models, do you use models, or how is your marketing going on, and how what is it based on? How do you tell about your clothing, plus size clothing, to the world?
So we use plus size models, and a lot of plus size clothing lines, they don't. But we use models who are anywhere from like a size 16 to a size 28 or 30. So that's pretty unusual. But we really want to show women that you can be beautiful at any age, any size, anything. It's all in the way you know, care about yourself. Um, and that's a whole other thing. And we use all races, and we use all body types. Um, there's also like, people think if you're plus size that everybody looks the same. You know, some people are just bigger in their chest or their bottom or whatever. So I really want to show women that you can have style and panache at any size. So we also bring in some, you know, very high-end stylists to help us, like once I design something, to come in and style the photography. So, you know, women just don't buy a dress. They know 5 different ways to wear the dress and how to care for it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, one new thing you have introduced is the luxury textiles into, into your clothing line. So, why luxury? This you want to give the best experience to those who want it that way.
Well, one thing is there was nobody doing it. Like, there are definitely successful plus size clothing lines and stores out there, definitely. But there was nobody making cashmere sweaters for a size 3X, or dresses out of silk charmeuse, or those are that kind of luxury lifestyle is what I live. The other thing is, I really believe whatever you do your best at it. Why it takes the same amount of time to make a pair of pants out of polyester as it does out of silk. So why not make them out of silk?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, where is your are your stores or the places that is it only in the U.S., or you have expanded beyond that? Any plans to come into this part of the world?
We would love to be in boutiques. I'd love that. So we're in a few boutiques in the United States, but most of our business is done online, what they call direct to consumer. So people can find us online at Sante, Sante, Grace, GRACE.com. And we're also on, you know, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of those places.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you for having me.